Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. The lesson today is twofold. First, I'm teaching the Tunisian seed stitch, but also in the course of this lesson, I want to teach you how to read your stitches in Tunisian so that you can reliably know what stitch to do next. So here's our finished swatch in Tunisian seed stitch, and what you'll need to know for this stitch is the Tunisian purl and the Tunisian knit stitch. I have videos for both of them separately in my Tunisian playlist. But first I'm going to take an Afghan hook and some worsted weight yarn that matches the hook size, and I'm going to chain an even number of stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chains. I'm going to pull up one bar in the back ridge or back loop of each chain across. So if I made 12 chains, I will have 12 loops on my hook when I have placed one loop from each stitch on. So if you need some basic Tunisian information, I have a Tunisian playlist. Go check out the basic information. We will be doing the traditional return pass. And as soon as I gather up this foundation row, we will start the pattern row. All right, so I'm going to teach you, again, the Tunisian knit and Tunisian purl, but if you need a separate video, I have videos for those for that purpose. Okay, let's make sure I have an even number. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 stitches on my hook. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more slack here. I'm going to do the return pass, the traditional return pass, all the way across. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and then the rest of the stitches are yarn over, pull through 2 all the way across. Okay, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way until one loop remains. Then we begin our pattern stitch. So our pattern, it's actually 2 rows alternating. So the first row, I'm going to move my chair out of the way a little bit here. The first row, we are going to start with a Tunisian simple stitch. So we're not actually Tunisian knit stitching, we're Tunisian simple stitching, so I apologize. The seed stitch is Tunisian simple stitch and Tunisian purl. You can also see the Tunisian knit stitch in other videos of mine on the playlist, but here we're doing the Tunisian simple stitch, and the first one is already done for us because there is one loop on the hook, and we're going to go ahead and use that as the first stitch. So the first stitch is a Tunisian simple, it's already there on the hook. The next one is going to be Tunisian purl. So bring the yarn in front of the work, loop it around, pull up a loop, and leave it on the hook. Now as we make that stitch, you can see that pulling the yarn to the front made a little horizontal bar right there on the front of the stitch. And that is a Tunisian purl. So when we see that bar going horizontally across the front of the base of that stitch, we know it is a purl. So Tunisian simple by pulling up a loop in the vertical bar. And look, there is no horizontal collar around this Tunisian simple stitch as there was the Tunisian purl. So that's why we can see that this one is the purl and that one's the Tunisian simple. That way if you lose count or you're watching TV or the phone rings and you put your work down and you have to go chase the cat, whatever it is, you can come back to your work and see that this is a Tunisian simple and the next one will be a Tunisian purl. Wrapping it around, and when we wrap it around, this is the horizontal bar that we are going to see on the base of the stitch. And then Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, and we're alternating one for one all the way across. Tunisian purl time, Tunisian simple. And then we are to Tunisian purl in the last 2 loops, the final stitch, and so I will do the best I can to do that by bringing the yarn in front and then pulling up a loop in the final 2 bars. So that is in fact a purl. So here we go. So if we look at this carefully, without remembering, oh gee, which one is the purl and which one is the Tunisian simple, we can tell by just looking at the stitch. The ones that have the little horizontal bar across the front is a purl. The one that goes straight up and down without the horizontal bar is a simple. Purl, simple. Okay, and so you can just pick randomly any stitch. Ooh, pick any stitch, that one. And look at it. Oh, there's a little horizontal bar there, so that's the purl. This one, it does not have a horizontal bar, so it is the simple. This one does have a horizontal bar there. It is the purl. So my point is that I want you to be able to read your stitches just by looking at them to know what it is, so that if you get lost, you can just look at it and find your way. Because I don't know about you, but I get distracted. Yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, all the way across, a traditional bind off or return pass rather. So nothing special about the return pass for this seed stitch pattern. Now, that was the first row of the 2-row repeat, not counting the foundation row. So the next row in the pattern, to make the seed stitch, we're going to do the opposite. We are going to purl in the Tunisian simples and simple stitch in the Tunisian purls. So we can tell by looking at our work that this one is a purl here in between my thumbs because it has the horizontal bar. So we know that that one needs a Tunisian simple. There's already a Tunisian simple here on this hook. We can't really purl it. We're just going to leave it. So we're not going to purl. We're going to Tunisian simple here, because we are doing the opposite in the next stitch. So this one we can see is a Tunisian simple. There's no horizontal bar, so that one gets a purl. Then we should be able to just continue the pattern all the way across. Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, and be correct all the way across. So, let's say you get distracted. Well, phone rings, dog's barking, someone comes to the door. Gee, I don't remember where I left off. Okay, well, we look at this next horizontal or this next vertical bar, and there's no horizontal little collar around it, so we know it is a Tunisian simple, so we need to purl it. And then just to make sure we're on the right track, look at this one. It does have a little horizontal collar there, so that is a purl, so we're going to Tunisian simple it. So it's a very valuable skill to be able to read your stitches because, you know, it's easy to get distracted and to lose track. And so if you can just see where you're at, then it solves a lot of problems and mistakes. Okay, so we will return the return pass just the same way we have been, very traditional. Yarn over, pull through 1 for the first stitch, and then yarn over, pull through 2 for all the rest of the stitches until only 1 loop remains on the hook. Let's do a few more of these and you'll see the pattern begin to develop. In our swatch here, you can see a very strong like horizontal or X kind of appearance. It's got great texture. This would make a great man's scarf. It would make a great little jacket or sweater for a baby. I can totally see this being an all-over cardigan for a woman. Very, very nice stitch. And it's got good drape. And look, it is not curling. It is not curling at all. I did not block this. This is fresh off the hook. So this is a stitch pattern that does not curl. Here's the back, also very pretty and nubby and textured. And here's the front, little X's sort of. Okay, very good. So, oh gee, I can't remember where I am. So we know, let's look at the internal 2 stitches. So this one is a Tunisian simple, which means we need to purl it. This one is a Tunisian purl, so we need to Tunisian simple it. And look, Tunisian simple, up, there's the collar around horizontal, so that's a purl. So we now know what row we are on. It is time to purl this one and Tunisian simple the next. And then continue the alternating pattern all the way across. And we'll continue this pattern as many times as is necessary to make our swatch. I love the fact that this one does not curl, this stitch pattern, because so many people are aggravated by the curling tendency of Tunisian crochet. And we're going to go ahead and attempt to purl this one. So pull the yarn in front, insert your hook in the two of the edge, wrap it around and pull it up. Okay, and we still have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 stitches. So we are right on track. Anyway, a lot of people are bothered by the curling nature of Tunisian crochet. So I do also have a video on my Tunisian playlist on how to stop Tunisian crochet from curling. So if that interests you, give it a check, give it a look-see. Also, check back the channel for giveaways, unboxings, live streams, book reviews, and more. Gee, where do I go again? Okay, so this one is a purl. It's got a little collar there, so it's going to be a Tunisian simple this time. This one is a Tunisian simple. It does not have a collar, so that'll be a purl. So I know I'm going to Tunisian simple and Tunisian purl. Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, all the way across. Let's finish this row together. Alrighty then, Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl. When I am Tunisian crocheting, I always try to always finish my work by doing the return pass. So like if I need to be done for the day, I don't like to leave my hook with all the stitches on it. I like to fasten them off or return pass them off before I put my work down for the day. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you can do a traditional bind off whenever you're ready, which is essentially single crocheting in every stitch by inserting the hook the way that you did for the pattern. Okay, so do you need more of an explanation on that? Let's do it together. So let's say I'm done with my swatch and it's time to bind off. I will bind off in pattern, which means that I will insert the hook as if I'm doing the pattern, but instead of leaving the loop on the hook, I'm going to single crochet it off. So this is a Tunisian simple stitch here, so it's time to purl it. So I will single crochet purlwise, bringing up a loop, pulling through both loops on the hook. Then the next one is supposed to be a simple stitch, so I will bind it off in pattern with a simple stitch by pulling up a loop, yarning over, and pulling through 2 loops on the hook. So in pattern means I will continue the same pattern that was used in the stitch pattern when I bind off. So I am binding off in pattern with single crochets. So the way I insert my hook is reminiscent of the pattern that we used below. Okay, and then again, if you get confused, you now know how to read your stitches. Look, this stitch here, can you take a guess? What am I supposed to put here? Here's the one next to it. So this one should be a purl because I'm purling in the Tunisian simple stitches and Tunisian simple stitching in the purl stitches. Pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2. So it's a matter of where I'm inserting the hook. It's a single crochet, but it matters where I'm inserting the hook and where the yarn placement is when I do it. And there we go. That's the bind off in pattern for the Tunisian seed stitch. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please give a subscribe and a like and a thumbs up and a comment if you wish. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time on the Ellen Gormley YouTube channel. Bye.